Welcome to this episode of the AT Show. First of all, do you like my background? I wish I had a house like that, but I don't, and I'm sitting in a very busy room with lots of books behind me and filing cabinets and folders and all that kind of thing. So, the subject of today's show is making a difference to people's lives. Of course, I'm referring to assistive technology. And for those who don't know, I'm a county coordinator for AbilityNet, which is a charity that's been in existence for 25, 30 years now. And we help people with their technology in their homes for free. And we sort out difficulties and things that they may have. And included into that is the power to make a difference to a person's life. Over the years, I've helped countless people along with my colleagues in this area. And what we try and do is to actually work to the client's specification. So we don't impose technology on them. That's not what we do. We work with them with empathy to show them what they can do. For instance, I was with a 90-year-old lady the other week who needed to be able to use her Alexa device to make phone calls. Of course, the thing that she needed, she didn't have, which was a mobile phone. And that's a common thing with people that we meet. But once she gets that, she'll be able to make those calls and will be able to use her Alexa device rather than trying to remember numbers and tap them out. We also work with a range of different kinds of people's disabilities. And some of it is visual, others is physical, others is neurodivergent. And there's a whole range of these people that we work with that we can enable them to lead better lives. One particular gentleman was it's knowledge that we share. One particular gentleman, I helped him with high contrasting his computer yellow with black writing on it, which enabled him to be able to perform tasks. But what most intrigued him was the information I shared about the Ray-Ban smart glasses. He bought a pair of these glasses, which are kind of affordable, 3 figures, and he was able to read the local newspaper. This was something he'd not been able to do for many, many years. So this really helped him to gain back some of his life. And as I think about it, the most complex cases go on to be more of my assistive technology ones. And here's a cautionary tale. A telephone provider, I won't mention their names, decided to install digital voice changeover. And this large company just went ahead and did it. Unfortunately, the person who was at the end of this could no longer use her answer machine with her voice. She couldn't control it. The person is totally blind and has no hand function. So what happened here was something that, due to not actually following up or taking on board the person's preferences, we impose something that we know has benefits, but sadly they didn't connect the dots. And what got me most is that they didn't go back to sort it out. So that is really, to check that it was all working the way she needed it to. She controls her TV with her voice. She controls her computer with her voice. But sadly, she can't control her landline with her voice. And she used to be able to do it. Another cautionary tale regards the use of large companies who produce, devices. And I know that this is a subject that I've touched on before, but why do companies insist on taking away functions that have been working very well? And those functions are important to the user. Instead of taking it away, if you could replace it or even amend it so that the user can use those skills. And it boils back to talking to users, to people who need these things, that it needs to be an ongoing thing. It needs to be working in that way, that we can actually make a difference to people's lives because we include them in the conversation and enable them to make the call and to decide whether they want this new bit of kit or not. Some people decide not to because old is familiar to them. But sadly, in the technological world we live in, change is constant, and trying to keep a handle on it is without doubt a challenge. But my plea is, rather than either or, let's think more about both and, so that we can enable multiple access means. So that if somebody wants to go to the doctor to have their particular medical thing sorted, then please allow that to happen, rather than creating systems that are automatic, yes, and powerful, but not necessarily what the end user wants or needs. So let's make things more human. Let's make them so that it makes a difference to their lives. Technologies that are changing the world, like the smart glasses I mentioned, are going to revolutionize the way that disabled people are able to access things. With smart cars, they're going to turn up with automatic autonomous systems, where it's driverless cars are going to make a huge difference to blind people, totally blind people's lives. And any technology that just gives you that little bit of independence is going to be something that is worth its weight in gold in the real world and in the future. We're going to need more and more of these kind of technologies that really are game changers on the planet, that can actually enable disabled people to either climb back to a bit of their life or enable them to pursue more and more different things that they couldn't do before. I often say to users, let's see what we can do differently. Let's see if there's another way of solving this problem. And that usually works because we're taking the human element and adapting it to the technology. So thank you for listening to this video podcast, whatever you want to call it, the AT Show. Thank you for watching, and tune in next time. Bye for now.